Hi friends, welcome back to Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my 7th and 8th graders curriculum picks or independent work picks for this school year. If you're new here, my name is Davine and I homeschool 4 kids ages 10, 11, 12, and 14. They are in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade this year. My last video was on what my 5th and 6th grade boys are doing this year. And today I'm going to be sharing what my 7th and 8th grade girls are doing this year. So the reason why I pair my boys and I pair my girls is because I feel like between both sets of students, they aren't doing the typical grade level work. In some cases, some of them are working higher than grade level, and in other cases, they struggle in certain areas. So I just feel like if I do these videos grouped together, you might be getting a little more of what you're looking for when you're watching these videos. So back in, I think it was April and May of last year, I put up my curriculum picks for the year, separated a little bit differently. I separated them into family subjects, math, language arts, and then extras or extracurriculars or just things beyond that, as well as my high school picks for my 2 girls who are starting a little bit of high school credits this year. So if you want to watch those, I will link those in the description box below. I will tell you the math has completely changed because we have changed most of our math since that video. So I will also link that video below in case you're wondering what we were planning on doing and what we chose to do instead. Today, I'm only going to be sharing my girls' independent work or the work that they do sort of at their own level. I'm not going to remake my family subjects pick video because the one that I made back in the spring is still pretty accurate. So if you want to see what we're doing as a family, go ahead and check that out along with my morning basket video. Also, I'll link that below. That will tell you what we're doing as a group for our morning basket. But all right, let's get into what my 2 girls are doing this year for their independent work. So I have sort of a checklist or list that I give my girls each week, and they are now plotting it into a planner, their own planners. I didn't bring the planners to show you. They are just regular school planners. They have sections for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They are dated, and the girls have to take what I give them for that week, or in this last week's case, I gave them 2 weeks worth or a week and a half worth of work for them to put into their planners. So their job is to plot that into their planners and sort of plan out their week as far as what they think they can accomplish on each day. So anyways, in my mind, I have sort of a list that I'm going down as I'm sharing these with you. And on the top of the list is their personal devotions. So they both have this book here this year, Starting Strong. It is a Sonlight recommendation, probably for maybe around level D. I'm definitely not sure on the level. It is actually 3 books in one. It is One of a Kind, Stuck Like Glue, and Never Too Small for God by Paula Reinhardt. And so my girls are just reading these. Basically it's 3 books, and they have a little devotional and they have some questions to answer. And I'm having them answer. I bought 2 of these so both girls can do it, but I am having them answer in a separate book so that I can hand this to my boys maybe next year or the year after that. So that is something they do once a week. I don't think it's going to take them till the end of the school year. They might be done about halfway through, and then I'm going to pick another one for them to do. And then on the other 4 days of the week, they get to choose if they want to do this. If you've been around, you've seen this for a few years. They are still working on it. It is 365 solid days. So they are still working on this. So this is sort of what a day looks like. And yeah, they only do it on school days. So any Sunday or Saturday ones, they are not doing. So we're not doing it according to schedule. They just do the next one. So they get to pick if they want to do one of these in here, or there you can do the SOAP method with the Bible. I have a list of verses or chapters of the Bible from Psalms that they would read a chapter and then maybe pick a verse to copy down in a notebook and then write a prayer or reflection to God. So simple SOAP, not the whole acronym, but just don't want them having to write too much during their devotion time. So that is what my girls are doing for personal devotions this year. So that brings me to math. My 7th grader, is so weird calling her a 7th grader, but she is. My 7th grader is doing Thinkwell Math this year. She is doing Math 8, which is pre-algebra. That is mostly online, and you can print off print-offs or you can purchase them. And so Thinkwell Math did send me all the printables for her level. So we have like a book here that has the notes for all the lessons, which is something you would print off if you just got the program without the notes. So that is just her little notebook. Our notes books talks about all the notes that they're covering. And then it came with this really, really thick book that I broke up into 4 books like this. That book had all the worksheets and the answers for the worksheets. So I split it up into the worksheets of half of the year and the answers for half of the year. So that's what she has here. And so she basically will watch a lesson on video, and then she will have a page like this generally to complete. And then I am having her, because I know that she understands that she has to learn the concepts, and it's not just a matter of copying things down and then not understanding it and then getting to a quiz or a test and not understanding the concept. So I have actually handed her the answer key for her to mark her own work. Thought it was time for her to be able to do that. So in general, if she's doing her daily lesson, then she will first do that. If she has any questions, she has been coming to me and we try to figure it out ourselves. And then she will go and she'll mark her work with the answer key and just see how she did and make sure she's ready for the quizzes or the tests that are coming. So far, that has been going fine. Really, it's been like a week, so I really can't give a full review on Thinkwell Math, but that is what she is going to be doing this year. Then my 8th grader, I did just make a video. I think I talked about that video. Yes, we changed all our math. I will link that below if I didn't say that already. My 8th grader, she's going to be doing CTC Math. Now, the reason why we chose CTC Math is because it is much more of a mastery-based, and I know that Math UC is a very popular mastery-based program. I just didn't feel like that would be a good fit. So when we were taking a look at CTC Math, I did really like the mastery aspect. It does have reviews as well. It has a review that you can do once a week. But in general, you watch a video lesson and then all the questions for that lesson are based on that video. And of course the videos or the lessons build on each other, but it's not super spiral. So if your child needs a lot of spiral review, then this would not be probably the best program. But if your child needs just a lot more practice in mastering things before moving on to a new concept and maybe has a hard time switching, I think when there's a lot of different questions, it's just very hard for her to switch from one type of question to another. And so this one so far is working a lot better for us. And so this is what she's doing this year. Now, one of the great things about CTC Math is when you purchase, it is a subscription based, so you get it for the month or the year. And you have access to all of the levels, which is really great because we did not end up using the level I thought we were going to use. I expected to be using Math 7 because I really wanted to just finish up and get ready for pre-algebra next year. And we ended up having to go back to Math 6. However, I think if we can we're going to try to do 2 lessons a day. We should be able to get through Math 6 halfway through the year and hopefully be able to start Math 7. And I mean, with the subscription base, I feel like it's just a lot more casual. I won't feel like I'm wasting money if we just go back and do a level and then have to get another level for them to continue. So I kind of like that aspect of a subscription based. So those are the 2 maths that my girls are doing this year. All right, so next I just grabbed a pile of stuff here on my lap. This is all of my girls' language arts. I'll just give you a look here. Okay, so we're just gonna go through and talk about what they're doing for language arts. I also just grabbed this. This is a list that I made. It is a reading list. I have 4 of these for each of my kids. I laminated it so that they can record what they do when they start things. Basically, this is for my oldest, and We have all of our history books that I would like them to read here. I have a little bit of space here for if she reads other books. And then on the back, I have, this is our Sonlight F books. So these are books that they will be reading as they go through Sonlight F. I've split them up according to countries because even though we're doing Sonlight F for our geography, we're also doing Guest Hollow for our geography, and so we're going to be mushing them together. So I just need to be very aware of what countries we're doing at what time. So this is sort of what that list looks like. They have a few other additional things they could do there. So I have 4 of these, and I'm basically keeping them over here on my bookshelf where the readers are, and so the kids are going through and just reading it at their own pace. The girls are now reading, generally they read about 20 to 30 minutes a day, and then in the evening, my oldest will read to us twice a week for about 10 minutes, just working on fluency and pronunciation, and vocabulary is not her strong suit, so we're still working on that. And so generally I have it so that they are reading their book. Actually, they're reading those books 4 days a week, and then 1 day a week they're reading their science book. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then out of those 4 days, 2 days a week, they're giving me an oral narration. So they are telling me what they read. And the other 2 days a week, I picked up, so this is new to us. I did not know we would do this in the spring, but I went and got Not Consume's reading logs. I got the elementary and the middle school versions. This one is the elementary school version, and my oldest is currently using this one. I let her pick because we haven't done a lot of analysis, book analysis, and so I thought that this one would be actually a better level for her to start on. So she is doing this one, and basically every time she reads, or twice a week when she reads, she is going to be filling out one of these little sections here, and it has different activities each day. So for example, BME, what happened in the beginning of the story, what happened at the middle of the story, what happened in the end of the story. This one is, after reading this text, what do you feel inspired or motivated to do better or differently? Draw or write about it. And then here, get informed. So this is for nonfiction. Some are for nonfiction, and some are for any, and some are for fiction. And I basically tell them if they're doing a fiction, they can just skip the nonfictions, and then when they're doing a nonfiction, they can come back and do those. So this is nonfiction, facts, questions I have, answers and responses, and then just something else there. So it's different, I think at least 8 pages, and then it kind of repeats itself, but that is actually something all 3 of my other 3 kids are doing. So my oldest and my younger boys, I didn't mention in this last video, in their last video that they're doing this, but they are. So that's what they're doing. And then my middle daughter, I do have the middle school one for her, but I have not started it yet. It is a little more focusing on one book, a specific book and a specific type of book. So they have ones for fiction, nonfiction, biographies, and then like informational books or things like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I wanted her to get a few books under her belt before she started picking a book for one of those sections. So she's still doing written narration on the 2 days that she's not doing oral narration, and that is just writing basically a page in a composition book about what she read that day. So kind of the Charlotte Mason style. So that's what we're doing for their just reading, or novel or literature. Another thing that is new to us this year that has to do with reading is I decided that my kids needed a little more work on reading comprehension, or even just test prep, a little bit of help with their test prep. So I picked up for my 2 girls, my oldest one, she's going to be doing this reading Detective A1. This is typically for grades 5 through 6. I just thought it was the right level for her. It talks about inference and using evidence and making generalizations, using figurative language and context clues and things like that. And basically, there is a passage to read, and then they have questions about the passage, and they make them look for evidence. Why did they answer in that way? What sentence did they find that evidence in? So it's learning to just read a little more carefully, And so I think there are like 52, about 50 lessons, and then there's like pre-tests and post-tests. So it's pretty much, if you do about 2 a week, then you would get through this book. So she's doing that one. And then my 7th grader, she is doing level B1. And so that is for 7th and 8th grade. And so just a little bit more. So that is what we are trying out this year. 2 new reading things here. So then as far as writing goes, and I guess writing and grammar goes, we have picked something new to try out this year as well. Both of my girls are doing Essentials in Writing level 8. I'm hoping that'll be okay for both of my girls. So that would be my 7th grader doing a year up, and then my 8th grader doing on her grade level, which doesn't always work. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too much for either of them. But when I looked at the samples, they looked like they would work. So Essentials in Writing, basically it starts off with grammar. The first half of the year is more focused on grammar, and the second half of the year is focused on writing. There are video lessons for not every day, but every lesson, as they call it. And so inside, this is sort of what it looks like. So this is like a grammar lesson. So that would be one day. And then I think there's some activities to do on the back. And I think all of that is one day. So that is not short for my girls. Actually, there's another one, 4 pages. So that's a lot for my girls. So we'll see how that goes. That's just in the grammar section. That's not even at the writing. So I will say we have done about a week or 2 of independent work so far, and the girls have been doing well with whatever they've had so far. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. That is brand new to us. And yeah, like I said, there's lessons online, and you can purchase a bound copy of this, or you can just print it off. That comes with the digital lessons. So we're still in writing. Something that I have picked up that was just more fun for my girls is this, My Year of Writing. And it's an Usborne book, and it's just very simple little prompts, like a sentence or 2, not really complicated. So I just assign that about twice a week, and I have them do like 2 of them each time. So there's 365. We're not going to get through all of those. And I also told them that they can go and skip around in that as well, because we're not going to finish it this year. But I just thought it was something fun to add in. Then as far as handwriting goes, my 7th grader, she is working on handwriting level 6, and I feel like she is about halfway through level 6. So she'll probably be starting level 7, and I think that's the last level that they have this year. And my 8th grader, she is working on level 4, and we are going a little faster this year. I didn't generally do it more than 2 or 3 times a week, and we are doing it more every day, just because I think they both enjoy it. Though I think my 7th grader would like to be done at some point, and my 8th grader, she's just on level 4, and she's doing good, so we're just going to move her a little bit faster. Then my 7th grader is not doing anything for spelling. She is more of an intuitive speller. She just has to see things once and she picks them up. My 8th grader does struggle more with things like spelling and phonics and things like that. So she is doing Spelling You See level E. We just started this. So we have been working on Spelling You See for maybe since we started homeschooling. So she has completed C and D at this point. So this will be her 3rd level of spelling. And I have definitely seen improvement in her spelling, and she's actually been writing some reports just for no reason, just for fun, which is kind of interesting to see on animals and stuff. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, definitely seeing her write voluntarily a lot more lately, and just in general, her spelling has improved. So the last piece of language arts I have to show you, this is something that we are doing a little bit slower. We are only going to do about 2 sections of a lesson each week, so it will take us longer than a year to get through. But both of my girls are doing Wordly Wise. So my 7th grader, she is doing Wordly Wise 8 this year. She did 7 last year, And I kind of had wished that I had put her at 6. It was quite a challenge. So I'm very happy to be moving through 8 a lot more slowly. And then my 8th grader, she will be doing level 5 just because vocabulary and things like that is not her strength. So she's just working on that. And so I'm hoping it won't be too much of a challenge for either of them, but that is what we're doing for vocabulary. So in most years, that's where my video would end, with math, devotions, and language arts. But this year, my girls are both doing science on their own, doing their separate sciences from the family and from each other. So I'm going to share with you what they're doing for science this year. My 6th grader, she is doing Bookshark Science H. And the reason why we're doing Bookshark is because we get it through our parent partnership program. So they wouldn't buy us Sonlight, obviously. So they get us Bookshark, but it's very similar. And it is on robotics, technology, and conservation. We are going to be focusing on the first 2/3 of the science. So it's basically going to be mostly robotics and technology, and towards the end I might add in some more stuff on physics. So I'm just going to sort of be evolving this curriculum as we go. This is going to be my 7th grader's, one of her first high school credits. So it's going to be either a general science or like a technology, science and technology sort of credit. And so I'm not going to show all the books she'll be doing for this. I will be making a flip through of it in the future, but her first book is this Robotics, and I have made a binder for her, and I just put this on the cover because that's the only book I had at the beginning of the school year. I am printing off all of the grids that come in the Science H, and then I just assign her a day so she can follow along and just do that on her own. So she has pages to read right now. She's reading pages in there, and then she has activity questions. So I'm gonna flip to where she hasn't answered yet, but she has, whoa, she's done a lot. So she has activity questions to answer once she has read whatever is assigned. So that is sort of her main science. We are doing about 3 lessons a week. This is a 4 lessons a week program. We are doing this 3 days a week. And then on the other days, I have them doing something else. So this daughter, she is currently reading Exploring the World of Physics by John Hudson Tinner. I thought these looked interesting. They are from a Christian perspective. So what I'm having them do is, my girls are reading either 1 chapter or half of a chapter, depending on the chapter. So they're going to be reading that. And then I have created for them a notebook. It's a science narration notebook. So this is one she designed herself. She designed the cover herself, and I had the insides designed. And I don't know if you can see it, it's very light, but basically we have a place here for a title. We have a square for an illustration. I have some lines for captioning, and then on this side, it's all lines. So basically, when they read this that day of the week that it is assigned, they need to write, I would like them to draw an illustration of something they learned, maybe label parts, give me a caption for that illustration, and I would like them to do a narration of something they found interesting or something they learned. So just a paragraph about something they found interesting or learned in that book. So that's kind of how I'm bringing my Charlotte Mason into it and not just answering questions. So there's that, and then both of my girls are currently reading Archimedes and the Door of Science, just 1 chapter a week. So basically that's their 5 days a week of science. 3 days she's doing her Bookshark, 1 day she's doing the Exploring the World of Physics and narration, and 1 day she is doing this, and the same thing. I expect them to read a chapter or 2. I would like them to draw a diagram of something they learned and write 1 paragraph kind of telling me what they learned, something interesting they learned, something like that. So both of my girls are using this book. So now my 8th grader for science, her main science, she's doing Sonlight G. And basically, so this is Geology, Physics, and Origins, but I'm actually having her focus on physics and chemistry, because it does cover physics and chemistry in here. So it is basically the first half of this covers physics and chemistry. And it's a similar setup. She has her own binder. It has, I will tell her what day of the week to be doing. So she reads whatever it is. And right now she's reading out of this, What's Science All About? She answers activity pages, and that is about 3 days a week. And then sometimes there's labs and experiments. I didn't mention my 7th grader. We already made a little robot. So things like that do come up once a week. And then she is reading Exploring the World of Chemistry by John Hudson Tinner. Same thing, she has a science notebook, and she will do one illustration and a paragraph telling me sort of what she learned or something she found interesting from that. And then on the 3rd day, she's doing Archimedes. So that's sort of how we're doing science for the 2 girls. And then finally, this is sort of a spill-off of last year. We finished off the year with learning about like our bodies and puberty and things like that. They've learned that before. I was just having them read a few books, and we didn't really get to finish last year, so I added this on to their schedule for now. When they're done this in their schedule, I'll be adding some more things into their schedules, like we'll be talking about study skills. I do have a high school level health textbook that I'm going to start assigning them. So this is sort of the extra things that they're doing right now. And my 7th grader, she's currently reading this, Lies Girls Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free. And I'm having her just go ahead and write inside the book. I'm not going to show you anything she wrote, but just kind of looks like this, kind of fun. And occasionally there's something for them to answer. And then my 8th grader, she's currently working on this, The Ultimate Girls Body Book, Not So Silly Questions About Your Body. And I'm just going to show you the table of contents because they cover some really good questions, and I think both girls are really enjoying it. And when she's reading this book, she is writing in a book, in her narration book, she's writing, I told her she needs to write 3 sentences. So these sentences can be either a question, it can be something they found interesting, or something they learned. So just a way, if they do have any questions, they can ask me, or a way for me to see sort of what they're getting from that book. So that's just kind of a continuation from last year that we're finishing off. But yeah, that is what I have for my 7th and 8th graders this year. Still getting used to saying that. Yeah. So if you want a flip through or a look inside or a future review on any of these things, let me know. I'll be happy to share it with you. I may be adding, as their independent work, maybe I'm really, like, there's things that are changing, things that are going on in my mind. I might be adding the guest hollow geography to their personal workload. I guess you'll find out in future videos if I do that, and you'll learn more about that. Yeah, so that is how we're starting our year. Things are being shuffled around. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not overwhelming my girls, but so far they're handling the workload very well. And so let me know if you like this video. Please give me a like, and if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe if you would like to watch videos like this in the future. I think I'm going to be making a video more on our schedule and a little bit on my kids' independent work checklists, or what I'm giving my kids to let them know what they're doing each day once our schedule is more settled and we've figured out what we're doing. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to stick around. If you are looking for a community, a Facebook community, I do have a Facebook group that I would love to invite you to. I will link that in the description box below as well. You are more than welcome to join us. We would love to help support you and encourage you. And if you're new to homeschooling, we always love to help people who are new getting started. So I would love for you to join if you would like to. Thanks so much for coming today, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.